Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Now We Know podcast, one of our closing out 2024 episodes. And I am very glad to welcome back for the first time in a minute, Mr. Kyle Wlodyga, Associate Art Director at Super7. And he is here to talk to us about some familiar things, but with a, maybe a different lens take on this. But Kyle, thanks for joining us.
No problem, man. Excited to be here. I realize it's been way too long. It's a pretty regular thing, but this is first and last of 2024 here.
I know. And, I would ask if you've been busy, but I'm positive that you have been busy. But how have things been otherwise? Yeah.
Good, man. Just working on lots of stuff. We did so much this year. So much Godzilla, so much Turtles. Was that the last thing we talked about? Was the 2003 stuff? Maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe so. Yeah, it was like back in the spring. I think. Yeah. No, it was crazy, but it's been good, man. Just all that said, I am excited that it is the holiday and there's a break here. But I'll make any exception for Nick, my brother from another mother. Everybody says we look related, and I feel like it only gets more and more true each time we hang out. I was gonna say, the more gray that you get, the more you'll end up looking like me.
There we go.
You got some catching up to do.
I could do a lot worse than looking like Veebs, the face of
yeah. Right. You're going into Ghost of Christmas Past right there. Right. Well, it is the end of the year, and we know that's because of professionally, that doesn't mean that things are slowing down because factories overseas are getting ready to head into Lunar New Year times when try to get as much stuff done and out from those before that happens. But you're a collector as well, so you're probably if you haven't yet, I'll say it's the time to start thinking about all the cool shit that you got this year, and what was the best, and it's a crazy, good, busy time to be in this little action figure world of ours, right?
Yeah, I mean it's an embarrassment of riches with everything being just. Everybody's playing at the top of their game here. I've talked about it with you before. Like the inmates are running the asylum. Like nobody who's making toys right now is phoning it in. They're doing it because Transformers means everything to me, or Turtles means everything to me. And so that passion is really coming forward. If you're not a toy collector, one, why are you watching this? But two, there's never been a better time to start either, because the stuff is so good, and there's so much of it available for every taste.
Yeah, I was going to say there's going to be something for everybody out there. But, one of the things that we talk about probably a lot, because I think, both of us are into it a lot, are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And as luck would have it, the latest series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates, I believe it is series 11. Yeah. Just arrived, and
at the buzzer for 24 here.
I know that you guys have been shipping a ton of stuff the last few weeks, with more stuff to come. But I was like, this just dropped. I want us to be able to have a chance to talk about it, because this is a cool series, and there's a little bit of history already kind of behind it, and some stories to tell. So I thought maybe while I do a little bit of unboxing of these things, we'll get we'll kind of get your take and stories about how this latest line came into being, huh?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm into it. There's a fun kind of. This is one of the first times that I actually was not involved with any of the QC stuff. So I sent it over to our production managers and the factories overseas, and it's just go make it. But I didn't get to see it until it's in hand, so it's kind of, I'm just like you guys now. Now I know what it feels like. Whoa, wow! I'm glad this is so cool, because there's definitely a little bit of oh man, I hope this turned out all right. Oh, okay, cool, yeah, we're good. There's a little bit of anticipation there, but
and you're speaking to it because you come and talk to us a lot about this stuff, but there are a lot of people that are involved in getting, an idea all the way to final plastic when it's in, our grubby hands. And so, there's lots of credit to be spread around as far as that goes. But it has to be strange when you're kind of on that front side of the development from, the art direction all the way through, managing the sculpting teams and, paints and stuff like that. And then you do hand it off, and it's gotta be weird, like kind of handing off a child.
I was just
I hope you grow up okay.
Yeah, kind of. It's I don't have children, but I think it's probably the closest I will get to, like, dropping your kids off at kindergarten for the first time. Like, okay, don't forget to, be nice and brush your teeth and all this. I don't know.
Make sure you get all your paint apps, dear.
Yeah. What do kids do at school? I don't remember anymore. But yeah, it's a little bit like
with
that.
Snotty noses. Yeah.
Yeah. You made a good point though. Like, I only get to talk to you and Flynn talks to you because, like, we know you and you have this platform and we're homies. Is that too bold to say?
No, I think that's quite fair.
Oh, well, thank you. But there's hundreds of people who help make these things possible. There's a full team at Super7's, sales, marketing, production, sculpting, painting, amazing people who work for us, and then partners overseas, and then shipping partners and people who do the testing to make sure it passes so that it doesn't have lead in it. Like, it's all this stuff. All of that works in tandem to make, this figure be in your hands possible. So, I mean, I've said it before. Again, I realize I'm kind of doing a lot of throwbacks today, but it's, it's a miracle anything gets in your hands.
Yeah, so. Well, it's a complicated, complex, collaborative industry and process to bring us these, fun pieces of escapism and irreverence. So let's talk about that, though, because I thought, so if you're not familiar or you need like a refresh on this, Ultimates Series 11 includes Rat King, Rapper Mike, Ninja Nomad Leonardo, which is a new creation, as well as as well as Battle Damage Foot Soldier. And so I think this is good because from a design and creation standpoint, you have your fingerprints on figures for sure, but there are a couple in this series especially where they're really coming out. So I thought it would be fun to talk about them. But I think because it's almost like action figure internet meme space at this point, I think we should start with Rat King and his hot Rat King persona. So I'll tee you up here and say Rat King started off in a completely different series, had to go back and do some other work and talk to partners and whatnot about him, but he is out, he is here, and one thing that he definitely came with is his new look expression that has been playfully dubbed Hot Rat King by collectors out there.
I believe it's called Sexy Rat King.
Sexy Rat King. Okay.
Rat King. So,
okay. All right.
But I also saw that 2024 was the year of rat boyfriends trending. So am I out of touch, or am I ahead of the curve?
I think you're ahead of the curve. And for all of us who don't have rat boyfriends, you can go and buy a rat boyfriend.
You too can buy your own rat boyfriend. Yeah. So, obviously with the feedback was hard at first, and it's a good, reminder to, separate your work from your self-worth for a minute. But I'm also glad that we've come around full circle now to like, where he's like I feel like he's a beloved meme at this point. He's
definitely,
because I feel like he was vilified for a while there.
Well, I think it's sometimes people have expectations for what they think something should be, and the thing itself may never have intended to be that. But I think the fact that people were given options suddenly makes a thing that they're not sure about something that's a really cool inclusion of it, because you can have the choice for it, right?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. And the people who were very mean in the beginning, I remember you. And the people who were very nice and very supportive at the beginning, I also remember you.
I remember you. Yeah. I remember you.
That's right. But no, I think he turned out really fun. I like all his washes and stuff, and I think you're right. I think having the options is a big plus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there were a lot of like behind the scenes kind of reasons that we thought it couldn't be the way that it is now, but you know, we were talking about it earlier. We had a lot of discussions with sales partners, licensing partners of like, this is what the demand is like here. And you know, I don't exactly like giving credit to like the unconstructive criticism that we had received, but we would use a lot of the constructive feedback that we got to show people like, okay, like, look, this is what they're looking for. Like, how do we move forward with something like this to like give the fans what they're looking for? And like, so that actually did help, which was cool. And I think the final product ended up being really, really interesting. And you know, as much as I love my classic Rat King, like I love these head sculpts. They turned out great. The classic Playmates looking ones.
Which is certainly not sexy Rat King.
No, not at all. I think obviously I don't even know if I have the choice anymore. I feel like I have to display him with sexy head forever.
Heck yeah.
Just because of who I am and this whole journey that we've gone on. But I genuinely think one of these head sculpts is pretty fantastic. So,
yeah. And with this line almost in particular, I have to say that my favorite pieces generally have historically come from those that give me kind of that nostalgic feel and bring that stuff to the table, but also offer new options, takes, and whatever else, because it gives you something that you just don't already have, right?
Sure. Yeah, and that's all we ever try and do, Nick, is just have something that's familiar, but also maybe gives you some new things you didn't think about that you didn't need. But at the same time, like if you want your classic Rat King head, use your classic Rat King head. Like that's fine with me. So I, for one, will be using the sexy Rat Boyfriend's head forever. So absolutely,
and even when you take elements from the past and kind of turn those on their head too, I gotta say can we call it the bandolier, the dead cat belt that has now been turned into a dead cat bandolier with rat clip on the back. I like this look for him this way, because I'll admit, when I was a kid, the belt usually didn't go on because it didn't
it's not work really well done correctly. Like the peg on it used to be soft, so it was really hard to get it to clip together.
Yeah.
Well, we had talked about it when we did the reveal of the update here, but that we and I'll remind you, but that cat bandolier and how it goes over his chest like that is my nod to King Joffrey Chauffeur from Coming to America. But it's Rat King. So,
he's our. Can you hit the note? Can you hit it? Because if you do, you can totally.
No, I'm not gonna.
He's our Rat King. He's our Rat King to be, and I'm gonna.
Exactly.
I'm gonna spare everybody.
That's right. Anyone who throws rose petals at my son's feet will have to answer to me. I can't even do it with a fraction of the gravitas.
Yeah, well, it's amazing where you can go for inspiration and tribute in the world of action figure creation, and being able to have the Rat King and Coming to America come together. I mean, that's some kind of full circle. I don't know what kind of full circle.
Some people think it could be done, but here we are.
Exactly.
One of my favorite things that I think some people don't necessarily realize is that he is actually much taller than normal than a normal human kind of in the character. Like, here's a foot soldier. He's probably half a head to a head taller. Might have
So tell me about that. Yeah.
And he's just a big boy, Yeah. That's what we were going for. I think that's part of his description too, is that he's tall.
And it, definitely in the Mirage comics, he was a big dude. right?
Yeah, totally. Here we go. I got my Casey here, which is probably more of an option for what people are talking about. But I mean, yeah, look at that guy.
Yeah,
he's huge.
It's he's got that looming presence that, you know, a
royal.
I was going to say a cutthroat royal, you know, leader would benefit from the So
yeah, some Game of Thrones in the sewer.
there you go. It's like the mountain that rats.
Right.
Well, you know, you mentioned the washes and things like that, because I mean, he needs to be dirty too.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that going on, which I'm glad to see. I actually really like how the hair color's kind of been amped up a little bit as well, because it kind of sets it sets it apart from, you know, some of the other pieces and shades on him. So it's just he's got that great classic feel to him. And I remember like Rat King and Leatherhead came out at about the same time in the vintage line, and now like Leatherhead being big in this line too, it's like they just really they're going to continue to go well together for me.
Yeah, I mean, I once we did the Bebop and Rocksteady kind of larger, which I realized it didn't exactly like sit well with some people. And I get that, but that's like, once we saw that, and it was kind of like, oh, all right, maybe we can have some fun with this, because like there's something here that's like really fun about just a big old or whatever, you know.
You know, that's kind of the point of Ultimates, right? It's a line that is not, you know, contained by previous restraints of, you know, design or whatever else. It's letting a lot of those things kind of run wild. So you know,
that doesn't stop people from putting their expectations on it, though.
Well, I suppose that's true. That's true. But you know, he comes with a bunch of, you know, swappable hands and weaponry as well. And if you went all in and got that super pack, you get some memorable colorways for some of those accessories in there too, right?
So one thing with the bandolier is that most of his accessories fit in there. So the only bummer is that they kind of block his face. But I saw some people post it this way, so I've done it here just to show you. But you can put it on his back, because you can flip it over, and then it's kind of like a strap or like a backpack or something.
So when he's like on the battlefield, and you know he's fighting, this goes on the back. But when he's like holding court and not needing to have all of his weaponry, then he
take all the weapons out, and then he's exactly.
He's like my classy dead cat as a warning to all cats. Well,
the knife, because it looks so dirty. Like it looks like, I feel like if you look at it, you'll get tetanus. You know what I mean?
Well, and
it's just so dirty and gross.
Well, and you know, you've got the whistle flute that is definitely a whistle or a flute, whatever you want to call it. That is a part of his characterization, and this is that thing. The knife, on the other hand, is a nasty blade shoved into a pipe and wrapped up for makeshift. So even kings, even rodent royalty still have to make do with the pieces that they have around them sometimes.
Sometimes you got to shank somebody. That's just the rules of the sewer. I get it.
You don't become king just by sitting around and looking pretty all the time, right? But he can do that too.
Yeah,
but he can do that.
You didn't get there with just this smile alone.
Exactly. Well, it's a classic character that I know that people definitely have a long time affinity for, and one that I know really from, you know, if not the very start of the line, not long after that, people have really been wanting the Rat King to join the collection. So it's good to have him now, and I dare say he was worth the wait and made, you know, even stronger by that. So his little bit of prehistory, I guess I can talk about it, as you mentioned, is just one of those examples that, you go back in, and then you never knew that you'd get a little bit more than what you were originally anticipating. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it worked out well. I think we were able to, turn the ship around, as people had said or whatever. So yeah. I heard, but there's still haters out there. I heard somebody called it an abomination the other day, and I was like, all right, well, can't win them all, but I'm happy with him. He's probably he's genuinely probably going to be in one of those like top 5s that I had that we're talking about earlier. But I feel like I had kind of like a lot of. I'm kind of flouting my own flute here a little bit.
Flouting your own flute, yes.
I feel like there are quite a few figures this year that I worked on that are kind of like milestones, at least for me, in terms of stuff. And I didn't plan for this one to be part of the legacy or whatever, but that's not how life works. You make plans and then they change. So
exactly. Well, it's and sometimes and that's what I really enjoy is that, oh man, I didn't even notice that before. Top of the top of the non-sexy head where there's no hair. That's real gross with some spots and nastiness.
The vintage toy has that too, but it doesn't make it any less gross.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking on the skin. It's like, nasty. But no, that's one of my favorite things is that, when new stuff comes out, it's like, if I'm familiar with a line and it's a character that I really like, or if it's something that's really well done, I can usually anticipate that I'm going to be really into that figure, and it's going to end up as being one of my favorites. But my favorite kinds are those that I'm like, okay, this is going to be cool. And then when you get it, it's a lot cooler than you thought it was going to be, and it really moves it up in there. And I'd say Rat King is definitely one of those guys, because you were talking about figures that have come out like Wingnut and those that have come out earlier this year. And it's like, I knew that was going to be one of my guys.
Yeah.
But Rat King is a great one to say, hey, yeah, I like the Rat King and I was looking forward to it, but now that he's here, better than I even was anticipating.
Elevated.
Yeah, elevated. Yeah. So Rat King, the storied royal long history, not only in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but kind of in his own conception in this line. So it's a fun figure, and I think that he's probably going to end up being, one of the favorites of this series for sure. Now that all is said and done.
Now that it's out here, I also hope that there's people who give it a second chance, and for everybody who displays theirs with their sexy head, I appreciate you.
Little extra juice for that one, right? Yeah. It's like and it's like, yes, this is almost when he was a young rat prince, maybe, before the heavy is the head that wears the crown and it makes his hair fall out even and whatnot. So it's like watching people who have been president. It's like they age like 20 years and 4 years. So so it works out in many wonderful ways for that. Then all right, well, the next one, and I have to say, probably from the time when this series was announced, it was probably the figure that I was anticipating the most, simply because, well, not simply because, but one of the main reasons why is because he's a part of my favorite variant group of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the classic line, and that was Rapper Mike as a part of the music Turtles, and the third music turtle that we have gotten in Ultimates. So I was very pleased when he was announced, and I'm very excited to open him now because, man, I love the craziness of the music turtles.
He's a lot of fun, and I think we got to like elevate him, sort of like you were talking about, where it's like the familiar stuff, but there's some new innovations that really kind of elevated. So this is the pose I have him in now.
Yeah,
holding the boombox, rapping.
Yeah, so talk about that, because even just starting with the boombox, there's some what I feel to be like, logical updates to just kind of how that whole thing is presented, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's not a boombox in the vintage figure.
Right. Right.
It's like I don't know, portable turntable, which doesn't
DJ
really make sense
turntable.
because you can't
Yeah.
really do that. I mean, I guess was it Grandmaster Flash had one of those, right? Where he had like a little strap and like could sit there. Maybe I'm sure someone's yelling at the screen right now, telling me what an idiot I am. I've seen it before, but so it was just kind of like, what do we do to update it? And you know, that original one was a sticker, so it's like obviously let's go sculpted. But then if we're gonna, you know, make one accessory, like let's just double side it so we can make it into two things if we wanted to.
Yeah. You know,
it's
definitely
ways to find the innovations a little bit. I think we originally even had it as like two separate accessories, and we were just like, well, let's just put it in one, like save the tool.
I mean, Donatello's right there.
Yeah,
he's gonna invent this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If it hasn't been invented, so I mean, you put on the purple mask and get to work with your Ninja Turtle innovation. So one side boombox, other side, you know, DJ turntables, and we're off, right?
Yeah, it was super fun, and I think it went well. Like, I think we even took some inspiration from the boombox that's in the party wagon.
Oh, look at that! You have a party wagon conveniently displayed behind you.
I know it's kind of hard to get it out one-handed though. Nobody take that quote out of context, please.
It's already been done, sir.
Damn it!
By the time you can say it, it's already been done.
Damn it! But that's not entirely there. But like, it's, you know, the two tape decks. There's kind of the turtle shell, like speakers too. You can see.
Yeah.
It's a little bit bigger, but it's you know, it's not exactly there, but you can see kind of where the inspiration is coming from. So
well, and the good part is that like you can double up on the volume with him now if you have the party wagon, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I might actually, now I'm thinking about it, I might even have him carry around the party wagon one, just kind of hanging out. But
well, that's definitely a way that, like, if you like the boombox aspect, but you also like the turntable aspect, you can use this for the turntables and bring out the boombox from the party wagon for you know, the boombox.
You can play with your toys however you want.
Exactly. That's what makes them fun.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, so then in addition to that, we had, you know, there's like the classic outfit, which has like the sunglasses that are sculpted on. So I don't know, I always find it to elevate the figure if you kind of remove some of that stuff that was like baked in to the sculpt, especially in an ultimate, because it makes it feel a little bit more toyetic if it's an accessory and stuff. Like, think about the like headset on Space Cadet Raph that we pulled off.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And like the alien was like a separate little buddy.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do that. Plus, I always thought these, like, I don't know, weird triangle sunglasses were strange on like a rapping version of Mike, but whatever.
He's got a few. There's a few choices, you know, with the design. So we'll allow it.
But then, you know, make the necklaces removable. That's just kind of the standard at this point.
Yeah.
But then you also can give him alternate necklaces too. Like, there's the pizza chain, but then there's the big old like rope chain. Yeah, pretty exciting. But then I think the thing that I've been asking people, because we talked about, you know, I handed these off and I didn't get to test anything beforehand. But one of my biggest innovations or things that I wanted to try was the like hat that you could spin around and put it into any direction. And I wasn't sure how that was going to work till I got it like last week. So,
and it works great. And it's really one of those things that it's like, my brain goes to the Beastie Boys with that. It's like those hats were turning a lot, you know? So
yeah. Is it bad that like, or maybe it's a sign of my age. I just think of Pokemon and Ash. Like,
that's it. Okay. There you go.
The battle or whatever. Right.
I was trying to keep with the music theme there, but
no, it's perfect.
We can do that too. But, I dig the chains.
So
yeah, and the chains being separate and the hat being, you know, flippable and whatnot. It's just it brings out a lot that what these are supposed to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's little updates and stuff, and some of them are licensor required, like the what's written on the pants, I think was a request from licensor, but then like the update to what the knuckles say, that was me, because I was just
mic drop.
Yeah, like I don't know, because I think in the vintage one it says Mike raps, which like is fine, but it's I don't know, it's not that funny. It's not even that cool. So I was like, I bet we could do something better.
It's one of those. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like so I'm gonna go with the lead on that is that if you have to tell somebody that you rap by your rings, then you're probably not doing it right. But let's not forget that the mic drop works even better because he's got the nunchuck 2 mics, so he can like literally like drop one mic, drop the other mic, and go mic drop. And it's like but
what's crazy is that he is somehow on the second character to have microphone nunchucks.
That's true. That's true. April beat him April beat him to the punch on that, but she doesn't have connected knuckle rings that say
she didn't have the drip that Rappin' Mike does.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to say that I understand the shoes on this have been brought out even more, and I understand the shell pattern that are on these, and that's the way that was as vintage. But they actually hold a special place in my heart because I'm going to admit this now, because when I was a kid, on camera, everybody. When I was a kid, I had a pair of Reebok pumps that were the tennis ones that had like the tennis ball material on them, and man, they were like these exact same colors. So so that gets extra points for me with that.
Did you make Rappin' Mike or childhood Nick in an action figure form?
Well, I think the shoes were about as close as I got to this particular type of drip, but I don't know. I like how the hands, the joints are in the right direction, so you can lay them down on the on the actual turntables correctly.
And if you want to put the glasses on, they do work too.
Yes. Oh, and actually, I had those on before I started playing with the hat. So yeah, there he is. But
there you go.
Just getting him as a part of, like I said, my favorite variant group, and he was really the one that was, I guess, a little different from the rest, because the rest, like, it was like, okay, we're putting together a rock band type of thing, but it's like Mike can go out on his own and do his thing. So
Mike didn't get the memo, really.
But he's going to do what he wanted to anyway.
Exactly.
But he is
a fun figure. He's definitely going to go on that music shelf that we talked about before.
Oh yeah, funky fresh with that, and that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. I think he'll probably end up, maybe in the background of when the Sabotage figures hit. I mean, he needs somebody in the background scratching records for that. So yeah. But no, he's really fun. I love how I love how you talked about the details being blown out, the hat that can move, but he just feels like a logical, I hate this term, but I'm going to say it, logical glow up of the original. Sure. So
I'm pretty happy with him. I think like I said, it was definitely like one of those like, man, I hope this hat thing works, and then it did. So we're definitely waiting. I was waiting for that a lot, for sure.
The turtle head shape, bandana, it all just kind of worked well together to make that spot just perfect for being able to do that with the hat. So yeah, he because if you're gonna go into a rap battle, I mean, you got to spin the hat around and get real serious about it. So exactly.
And it didn't help that nobody, like, all the photos I saw of this guy online, like, nobody was turning the hat. It was always like in one spot, and I was like, "Oh, that
same spot." Yeah. Well, if you didn't know, you're gonna learn today.
That's right.
With this, so yeah, you can have Rapper Mike all kinds of funky fresh ways. But Very, very cool addition. We're 3/4 of the way there, man. And
I know.
I know.
You know more than anybody that I want Heavy Metal Raph so bad because he's Heavy Metal Raph. Like,
I know. It's like punk. How my favorite turtle got with my favorite like music genre, I'll never know because they really don't go together personality wise. But it's like, I mean, for you, the heavy metal,
take it, man.
whole rap part, it's right there.
I know it's kind of crazy, and it's like that's the other thing is like I'm gonna get crucified already, but like I know that like people were like upset about the changes to like Sexy Rat King or whatever, but like the Heavy Metal Raph is like he is hair metal Raph.
Hair metal,
not
Raph. Yeah.
He is not Heavy Metal Raph. I think like there are ideas I have that would make him truly Heavy Metal Raph. That I hope would go over well, but I'd have to see. So
see that, but that's just the thing. That figure, maybe even more than the rest of them, because he would lend himself to. Okay, you got zebra print hair metal Raph.
Yeah,
you could also do like a variant exclusive of like black metal Raph then, and like do the colorways up and really do it.
You don't think that I drew up a metal Raph for every genre of metal, then you don't know me at all.
No, I was going to say I'm positive there is a drawing or multiple drawings of genres.
Whether or not they get used,
I don't even know about.
Yeah. Whether or not they're official or get used at all, I did them for me.
Yeah.
I hope that they get made, but we'll see. So.
Well, we're going to keep the fingers crossed to get that group together, because it's wacky. They all go so well together in some weird way, and as much as Mike seems to fit the rapper part, and it's cool that Donnie is the punk and Raph has the hair metal, and of course Leo's going to listen to the music that your dad likes, so that's perfect, right?
And just we got to complete a team other than the core turtles. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Let's make it the best variant group out there then.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So now, speaking of Leonardo, this is a shift. This is a change because
cosmic.
Yeah, because while Rat King and Rapper Mike and even Battle Damage Foot Soldier, which we'll get into, but those have reference points, previous incarnations and whatnot. Ninja Nomad Leonardo is something that is brand new. Not done. New design, all of this stuff. So I wanted to really take some time with this guy so that you can kind of give us a little backstory on him, because it's really cool to be getting new in this line too.
Well, I mean, it's cool to be getting new, but it's here we go flouting again. It's cool to be able to make new. Because you are correct. This is not one that ever had a vintage toy or anything like that. This was something that I got the opportunity to design myself, which is cool. Being a lifetime Turtles fan, I tried to keep it in a way that was like it felt like a vintage toy, but wasn't exactly really. And I think the first time we did that was with Ninja April in the last wave. That was never a thing. There was Ninja Newscaster, but she didn't look like that. It was just a little bit different, and we wanted to have like that vintage feel. And so that was kind of the goal here as well on this guy, with his trash can lid hat, the swords kind of everywhere. The soft goods thing is that's more of a modern take, but like if you look at we're gonna get a little lewd here. L for lewd. He's got the belt with an L on there, and kind of the ropes all over, because it's just kind of like he's kind of scavenging stuff. All over the sewer wasteland or whatever. So it turned out pretty fun, I think, for what it is. I realize it's kind of a risk trying something new, But I'm happy with it.
Well, yes, I agree with you with all of those things. It is a risk to try something new, but that's the thing for a property that a lot of us reference and collect for as a nostalgia property. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is not treated as a nostalgia property by the people who own Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because there's always new Teenage Mutant Ninja stuff, and if you don't keep pushing that forward, then things eventually get stale, and then it's like it becomes niche. And so I think it's just very logical to be able to take part in a furthering of a property like this. And I have to say, though, if I were to find maybe like the one person left on Earth who doesn't know about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at this point, and say, hey, this is a property. If I were to hold these two figures up for you and say, which one is referencing a real, like a previous incarnation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this one feels authentic to the idea, maybe even more so than a lot of stuff that we've gotten in the past, right?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, there's always kind of like a core tenet of like trying to have fun with it, and like what would have been done back then, what makes sense, kind of like what's kind of wacky and fun, because like that's kind of the joke, right? Is that like they like there's obviously like the visual gags, like the alien splatted on the back of like Raphael's astronaut suit, or literally everything about Muckman or whatever. But like part of the joke is that like they're turtles, but this one's dressed up like a cop, or this one is a football player, or this one's in a caveman outfit riding a dinosaur, but it's a turtle,
right?
And like that's fun.
And one's a farmer. Yeah,
exactly. And so a very serious wasteland wandering lone wolf and cub inspired samurai that happens to be a mutant turtle is kind of that's inherently the joke a little bit. I think it works whether you're kind of trying or not sometimes.
And I have to say that it being given the options with this is cool too, because I will admit something now that I talk about often, is that Big Trouble in Little China is one of my favorite movies of all time, and so it's gonna be hard for me to not display him with this head. So I think this is going to be the one that's going to win for me, simply because it's like I want the Turtles to meet Jack Burton. So if we can make that happen.
I'm kind of in a world where it's like, do I get 3 more and customize each one and just like paint the wraps and change the soft goods or whatever, and it's like the 4, it's 3 in that movie, right? There's like the 3 storms. 3 like storm stages. So I mean, there's something fun there, but that was also part of it, is can you get your feudal style wandering ninja, or your modern style with the trash can?
I
saw somebody online, I think Cody, Too Much New Toys, had him holding his own head by like the handle, like he decapitated another wandering turtle, which is super
someone
fun. Not what I
would dare impersonate him.
Exactly, something like that. But it's pretty fun. So, and the thing that I really want to do, and it's important to me, whenever I can do it, I will do it. Weapon storage. You can put all of his swords on him at once. So the 2 long ones and the short one, if you want. I think there's 4 slots on him total. So he can come with everything.
Well, and that's something I definitely appreciate. And you can also choose the style of sword if you went all in as well, for the curved blades instead, which I may ultimately go with the curved ones simply because, like my regular Leonardos, I've switched to the, I'd switch to the straight swords just to have that kind of more vintagey feel to it, and now I have the options.
Yeah, well, that was part of why we did the blue on the curved ones too, because the first Leonardo, the core Leonardo, doesn't come with blue wraps. I think it's just like brown ones, which always kind of bugged me. And I realized that I'm one of the guys who makes those decisions. But I was like, maybe we should have gone blue on that, because I think Mikey has orange wraps and Raph has red ones. Raph's got black ones in the first one. But
still.
Donnie had purple wrap. Mikey had orange. So, I think those first couple is where we missed the opportunity to do the real color theming. So,
well, and I love the sandals, and his balance with them is great.
Well, good. It feels nice. It's like a little bit thicker than a normal one.
But
these are pulled from the regular Samurai Leo. They're not the same shoes. But that is like what the design inspiration was too.
Right on.
And I think we had talked about it again when we debuted this. But the other part of the other idea was like, take Samurai Leonardo, which most people seem to like a lot. Like I think including you. But then like, that was sort of the inspiration. It's like, okay, like what does that guy look like on his day off, or if he doesn't serve, Shogun Splinter anymore, and he's wandering like. It's like that same character, but like just a different take on it too. And that's kind of how, at least for me, that was like my logical kind of step to like kind of keep it in that same place of imagination and discovery in that vintage line a little bit, just because you're thinking of, or I was thinking of like alternate versions of figures that people already know, if that makes sense.
That's cool that it has, logical backstory to it, as you said.
Try.
It's like, well, and that's the thing. Is it his day off? Is this what he was before he was that? Is this afterwards? What was Leonardo too perfect that he ended up disgracing himself, and now he's like out on his own? It's like, how does that work? So the world is our oyster with being able to continue on that story, but this is kind of like the vessel to tell a broader story of Leonardo in that context is really fun, man.
I think they would. I think they'd display super well together too.
Yeah, and I have to say that I like the overlay, the soft goods overlay on there. But if you decided that you didn't want it, I mean, he looks cool even without it. So you've got the option. You've got the choice for that.
I haven't tested it yet, but the skin tones should be the same as the regular Leonardo. So if you just wanted like a feudal style Ninja Turtle with like the regular Ninja Turtle head, you could take one of your old Leo heads, put it on here, and then you just kind of have a hot, little bit more rough and tumble look for your Leo with your belts and that kind of stuff. I have not tested it, but it should work. So,
well, I know what I will be doing tomorrow since I'm opening these on the spot.
Well, send me a picture if you so.
Well, congratulations on this one. For sure, he's cool. He's fun. I hope that you have an opportunity to either continue this type of story or be able to bring out a story for one of the other turtles, in the future at some point as well. Because I think this is a cool idea to move things along with, other parts or other iterations within this line. So I dig it.
Well, it was fun, and that's the other thing is like I try to just focus on the fun that we're having, and it's a collaborative environment. Like I don't just design these in like a vacuum. Like
sure,
I work with Josh, I work with Flynn, we talk about it. But at least for me, when I'm like presenting designs, like these are the thought processes that I have. Like when I'm sitting here, like this is like I'm talking to you from the desk that I do all this stuff from. Like this is like I'm in this room, surrounded by all this stuff. Like this is where I'm making the stuff, and these are the not the logic jumps, but just like the reasoning and thought processes I have for myself before I then present it to the larger team who makes a whole decision and stuff. But again, I do realize like getting to contribute to the Turtles canon in some way, official or unofficial. I don't know if people are gonna pay attention to this or not. But we also did Gorilla, which never had a figure either, and like being able to contribute to all that is like not lost on me. So I'm pretty grateful for those opportunities.
Well, he's fun, and I think that once the weather here returns to a greener time, he's going to be a lot of fun to take pictures of out in that, because things are a little desolate and brown right now, which I guess he could fit into that, but it's cold out there, so I don't want to go take pictures outside.
Wandering in the snow can be cool.
Well, awesome. So it's we've gotten a tried and true vintage guy, a very cool variant group figure, a brand new all new kind of version of a heavy hitter, and then that kind of brings us to something that is, even within the context of the construction of this particular series, something that's different. And this is battle damaged foot solder, but he's a lot more than that.
He's got a few references in there.
Yeah. So what was so from, I guess, maybe a line planning standpoint, or everybody's saying, hey, what should go in this line? What was the big drive to get the foot soldier back, I guess, into the series?
It had been so long since there was kind of a core foot soldier sort of character in the line. I think the last one was the glow in the dark one.
Yeah.
The special blue glow in the dark one, which is cool, but it's not really normal. And the core one's from the first wave.
Yeah, it's 10 series ago, right?
It's kind of wild. And we're like, oh, well, there's definitely I would almost, we kind of not struggle with it, but we acknowledge that sometimes either up to 6 months or a year, there's, 10,000 plus new people who don't have like some of the older figures or aren't really familiar with what we do, or they're new to the line. And so it's like, okay, like you got to try and keep that in mind. If we're going by that logic, it's been,
a lifetime at that
5
point,
years.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's even, we're talking, a good chunk of our core customer that doesn't even have like a regular foot soldier, maybe. Yeah. So, it's like, okay, like, well, that now it's time to think about what that looks like. And it's, do we do a reissue? Like, we could do that, sure, but like, is that fun? Not really. So, what can we do? And so battle damage seemed like an easy way to get it in there. And then you can also have a little bit more like fun making some stuff up, but then you also get some kind of references as well. So because foot soldiers were, the robotic foot soldiers, especially, those were created to literally allow the Ninja Turtles to beat up and destroy and kick the what out of these guys without it having like a human cost to it, right? So them being battle damaged is probably how they end up spending most of their time, right? Yeah, that's true. So you want it to look different enough that the person who has 1 or 10 of the core foot soldiers feels the need to dip in again because it's different enough, but also similar to the core one, that if like this is all you have, like you're not going to feel like, oh, I have a weird foot soldier that's not, doesn't really fit with my display.
Right. And to that point, there's a good balance here, because I think it could have been that you could have done a lot of these embellishments and battle damage pieces with paint without going to like a lot of new parts, at least on like the main figure itself. But there are lots of new places. Yeah,
there's a lot of new sculpted parts, like the crazy damaged hand, the new broken wrist guard, the chest, the shoulder, the knee, the shin, even his like, I don't know, what do you call these, like his little bib is also tattered and different too.
Yeah.
With the new deco as well.
Yeah. But that just goes to bring it out even more. So it's like, this isn't a repaint figure. It's a it's a foot soldier, with a new take and a one that gives you, as you said, variety, more variety within the line itself. So
yeah, it's a worthy update. It's a cool modification with some new parts as well. The biggest new parts are obviously the heads.
Yes, let's talk about those, because I am one of those guys who has like 1 or 10 of the regular ones, and these new heads are two of the things I was looking forward to the most with this guy.
Yeah. I have not tested it, but you might be able to switch those out into your old ones too. But don't quote me on that.
I think maybe.
I have not tested because I don't know. I don't even know where my foot soldiers are.
Should you tell us about them, and I'll attempt to do a test here?
You can try. I have a feeling it's going to be real hard to do, but
I may have to.
You may have to heat it up a bunch, and it's probably real cold where you are.
I'm gonna wait for the heat. Yeah.
Don't break it on camera. For both of us, please. But obviously, so we have 2 different heads. There's the regular one, which really is just the normal head with echo updates to damage, like the metallic slash over the eye. And the kind of spray fade and stuff, which I actually think looks really nice. I think
he's got some really nice airbrushing and stuff all throughout. But
but then there's the direct cartoon reference where you can, if you Google foot soldier or TMNT foot soldier from the 80s, like this is one of the first images that pops up.
Yeah, the alpha,
the alpha one, the little torn face one, which I thought was cute. I don't know, it's just kind of like little pig guy, like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, he looks like he could like vacuum your floor with his like vents. Yeah,
but then there's the other one, which I think is the one how I'll display it with, where the whole cowl is off, and it's the fully robotic one, which a little bit more of a reference to the vintage toy. There's like the flip head one, where he was gold in that version. I don't know. I realized that it probably should have been gold, but logically for us, it was like all of the other accents on this are silver. Let's just make it silver, and it's another point of difference too. So
and let's remember that the 80s, that was like the decade of decadence with like Shredder like making foot soldiers out of gold. It's like this just economically makes a little bit more sense, right? So
I think I don't know. I also weirdly feel like, close your eyes, picture a robot. What color is it? Probably silver.
Unless
you can be bad at that, but that's like, tell me I'm wrong. Like, you probably are remembering a metal robot.
Unless it's Bender living his dream. I would say silver is the color.
Exactly. But then you gold. I don't even think of. Bender obviously is like whatever, just iron, aluminum, or whatever. But I think of Gold Robot, I think of Calculon, but
or
Hedonism Bot.
Yes, we have Hedonism.
Delicious. Yeah.
Yes, many wonderful robots from that show.
There you go. Futurama Ultimates confirmed, everybody. From one Hedonism Bot reference.
But no, but that's cool that I prefer the silver myself, because like you, it's like if I'm picturing a robot in my head, he's silver. But to the point, it's like, okay, you've got to take on one of the most vintage of the vintage with kind of the battle damage version, but then you do get into toy reference later on, and you even get a little bit of cartoon, so it's like it's spread out with all of the different pieces with this one, and where they come from. So to your point, no matter what you prefer, you have an option here.
The other thing on these new heads, which includes the core head as well, we did update the neck articulation. So not only is it the ball joint where it attaches to the chest, there's a ball joint where the neck attaches to the head, and that affords you even more range. I mean, you can look like straight up on this guy. pretty close, pretty far down. You know, really far right, left as well, because it's, you know, just that much more motion. Which I think is even more than what you had in the very first one. So
yeah. It definitely like just being able to do that here. It's like it's got some good movement there.
He just like looks down because he's sad, and he's like, "Oh, my chest, oy."
look what you did to me. Right. But no, I was kind of feeling the way that you had it too. It's like battle damage. Let's get that. I guess they put gloves on robots for the purpose of this. So let's get that off of there.
Well, that's, you know, I talked about it a little bit when we did our first one too, but like that is my Darth Vader reference is, you know, the robot hands. So
yeah, it's good to see.
Everything comes back to James Earl Jones is what it really
There you go.
I will sneak a James Earl Jones reference in every figure I can.
No kidding. In one series, man. I mean, wow.
I'm a big fan.
And I mean, you've got Thulsa Doom already, so here we go. So
3 Thulsas at this point.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, I like the matte quality of the paint on the I guess what is supposed to be, you know, why do we dress robots, but you know, cloth pieces on here. It's a nice change, you know, from one piece to the next. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's just, especially with the metallic hands or metallic parts, it's just like it's a nice like textural shift, you know, from the metallics to the matte to some of the sprays and that kind of stuff. So it's like I almost feel like I want to use the metal hand on like with the alpha head, because it's like this is the alpha one, like embrace your robot bodies, brothers, and take off the tattered clothes of you definitely have enough foot soldiers in that room to start a revolution. I know that much.
I'm gonna lock the door down here before I go to bed tonight.
The AI uprising starts at Nick's house.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, it's already begun. But you know, this is another one where it's like there's a lot going on in this series, so I could see battle damage foot soldier. You know, somebody maybe looking past him even within the context of this series, but man, he turned out great. Not only for the options, but just the execution. Like I said, I really like the airbrushing and the thought that's gone into some of these broken pieces and new pieces on here to really differentiate him from the original, but keep him, you know, kind of within that same iconic silhouette. It turned out very nicely.
I think he's a sleeper. I think a lot of people kind of wrote him off as just a recolor, but he's so much more than that. The team, all the guys who worked on this did a great job, and they worked really hard to like make them all unique and different. I heard the same kind of sentiment about the Ninja Nomad Leonardo as well. But I think those parts are new and compelling enough that it really is like a whole new figure. But yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out to the sculpt team and the paint team, the production team who all worked on this. Dave White, Tom Schunard, Matt Keown, Nate Carnett, Mike Gullen, Josh, all these guys, they did great work. At the moment, it's escaping me who did what. Painting production, that kind of stuff. But
people got to remember
so long ago.
People got to remember you have to like return from the future to have these conversations about what you did in the past in the present. So
we're talking 2 years ago at this point. I don't remember. So there's a lot.
Well, it's a very interesting and compelling wave with a little bit of something for everybody, and for those of us who like just can't get enough of all kinds of different things. Because I mean, yes, my heart is with what I grew up with as far as Ninja Turtles go, but I get excited, just as excited about new stuff. and how that's going. So I'm glad to see that as well. It's a really well balanced series, and so I think this is definitely, you got a winner on your hands with this one, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's always good when you have a win, but I think it's kind of crazy to be 11 waves in on anything.
Yeah,
just crazy.
Yeah.
Been working on turtles since 2019, which I think legally is 8,000 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
it's been a hell of a journey, and I appreciate everybody, including you, for supporting the line for that long.
Well,
because you don't get to 11 waves without a good fan base and support.
It's a ton of fun. I have enjoyed it, and I continue to enjoy it. And to your point, I mean, Ultimates is Turtles, Thundercats. I mean, we're into double-digit waves at this point, and that's really cool, because you never know how it's going to go when you're starting stuff off like this. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah. So that
did not think it would get to this far.
Sure. And so that said, Wave 12 is next on the horizon for release, and that is something that is even something completely different from the context of this series as well. So we're getting into 2003 TMNT, and I gotta say, if you're willing to, that's definitely a series I would love to chat with you about in the not too distant future once that's released.
I was thinking the exact same thing. As soon as that goes up, we will definitely be talking. We already I think it was already confirmed or sort of alluded to who else is in that wave, but once those details get revealed, I mean, let's you got my number. Let's talk, because I would love to talk about those guys.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll get when Series 12 drops too. We'll go through that new generation of turtles, joints, and all kinds of new things going on with that. So I'm looking forward to experiencing that too, and really seeing Ultimates TMNT getting blown out into all kinds of different takes and times, and new and old, and kind of old, kind of new. Just it's a lot.
It is. I will make as many turtle waves or whoever as anybody will let me, as long as sales are supportive, and that we've got the go ahead. The what am I trying to say here? The freeway, the off ramp, what am I saying? The runway is clear. There we go. Holy crap!
I thought you were going to like the on-ramp to awesomeness or something like that.
That's on-ramp to awesomeness is pretty good. No, as long as the runway is clear, I'm happy to take off with these wherever we can go.
I do believe On-Ramp to Awesomeness is the name of an album that classic rock Leo released sometime in the 70s.
Yeah, that like early 2000s post-punk something. A lost I don't know, Yellow Card album. Maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Kyle, I know you're busy, and it's the holiday season when things are even busier, but as always, I appreciate you taking the time to come and chat with us about these cool brand new figures, and people are getting them as we speak, so this is timely, which I'm never timely really about anything. So I think that's an accomplishment, but lots of cool stuff here, so I'm looking forward to seeing pictures and reactions and whatnot from people as they get them, because like I said, I think this is a really strong wave.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's slowly trickling out, and some people are starting to get them now. Most people who ordered directly from us should have them by now, I think.
Yep.
So hopefully you did, so you can get your Super Pack accessories here.
Super Pack.
But did you hold up Mike because he's their favorite of the wave so far, or is just the closest one?
I held him up because I can't get over the rings, so it's like
the mic drop.
The mic drop coming in there. So
I
feel like a mic drop
help the hands out like this in the pose or something.
Yeah,
like that.
It's like, right? If I had the wherewithal and the prior planning, I'd have him ready to go to do the mic drop to send us out. But in lieu of that, I will just say thank you to everyone for joining us. Happy holidays to all, and to you, Kyle. And like I said, hopefully we'll be in line to do this again much sooner than the like time between this one and the last one that we had.
Yeah, and so long neither of us even remember how long it's been. Which means no time has passed at all, because everything is relative and time is fleeting. But anyway, happy holidays, everybody.
It's all made up. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you again soon.
Cool. See you guys.